Thomas the Tank Engine was puffing happily along his branch line. It was a beautiful autumn day, the sky was orange, and Thomas couldn't be happier. When he arrived at Farquhar, Percy was shunting trucks into the yards. But he looked very shaken up. "Hello, Percy. What's wrong?"
Well, Thomas, now before I tell you, I don't want you to make fun of me for this, but I thought I saw the poltergeist figure.
The one you had a run-in with last year? But I thought that was a branch line ghost.
So did I. Because I remember you telling me about the haunting. However, I was waiting for the workmen to load up the flatbeds when I suddenly saw a figure standing alone in the corner. I could have sworn it wasn't there when I arrived. Then when I looked again, he was standing right in front of me. I'm telling you, Thomas, that there is something weird going on in the smelters near Barrow.
Yes, indeed. And Henry was talking to me the other day. According to him, when he was there, he'd seen a ghost of him in his old shape. But as if he had died and his shape was, wheezing steam and oil was coming out of his boiler.
I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for all of this, you two. But take my advice when I tell you that ghosts do not exist. And Thomas puffed away with Annie and Clarabelle. Later, when Thomas popped into the big station, Mavis was waiting on the other line.
Hello, Thomas. You're finally here. The Fat Controller is wanting a word with you.
Indeed, I do.
What is it, sir?
I need a special delivery of scrap delivered down to the docks from the smelters yard, then with a few potential specials going to the smelters in Barrow. But they are still a maybe for now. The foreman will confirm with you and Mavis to go and help Splatter and Dodge.
Yes, sir. Then the Fat Controller walked away.
Did you hear the story from Toby and Percy, Thomas?
The one about the ghostly images in the smelter's yard at Barrow? Yes, I did.
Don't you think it feels a bit odd?
Since Diesel's accident, I have felt a bit on edge. But I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. The devil was brought through the amulet, and that's been lost again now, so I don't think that's got anything to do with it. But come on. Let's get going. We don't want to be late.
I suppose you are right, but don't be too sure. This close to Halloween, these things are not to be taken lightly.
Thomas and Mavis puffed up the line. The sky was getting dark, and the fog was starting to lift. Thomas was trying to feel brave, but he was slowly starting to lose his nerve. Splatter and Dodge were waiting in a siding at the yards when they finally arrived.
Hello, Thomas. Hello, Mavis.
Hello, boys. How's the workload turning up?
Not too horrendous. But it does seem as soon as we've shunted one train, another massive load arrives.
Well, that's gonna be the way it is tonight. So come on, you lot. We've got work to do. Soon the 4 engines were bustling about the yards. Trucks were put into their proper places, and the iron was quickly and carefully loaded onto the flatbeds. Later, Thomas was having a rest at the water tower when the foreman came over. I need you to take a scrap train over to the other railway, Thomas, but please be careful as the fog is supposed to get worse. Don't worry, sir. I promise I'll be careful. Later, Thomas coupled to his trucks just as Mavis pulled up alongside.
Do you want me to come with you, Thomas? After all, I don't want you to get lost.
Mavis, I'll be fine. At least Barrow is on the main line and not down any branch lines where there'd be twists and turns. So don't worry. I'll be all right.
Yes. But what if Mr. Goodman finds you? Don't forget he's still out there somewhere. He may be related to why all of a sudden they specifically asked for scrap shipment on Sodor. Do you not see what could happen?
Mavis, take my advice. You really need to stop listening to your driver's mass list of conspiracy theories. Honestly, stop worrying and I'll be fine. And before Mavis could say anything else, Thomas puffed away. Splatter and Dodge pulled up alongside her.
I'm sure he'll be fine, Mavis.
Yeah. However, Mavis, would you be able to run to the yards?
I don't think so. Why do you ask?
We need to go and check. Something down the docks.
Yeah, if we don't do it, the Fat Controller will be annoyed.
with Splatter and Dodge oiled away. Thomas arrived at Barrow. Mr. White was waiting for him. Right on time, Thomas. If you shunt your trucks to the yards, Stepney'll carry on from there. Of course, Mr. White. Thomas carefully shunted his trucks into the sidings and passed them over to Stepney, who took them over to the other line. Then he set off back for home. But that's when his nerve really went. The fog was thick, and the only light he got was from his lamp. Oh, keep it together, T. There's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts. But Thomas was heading for trouble. Up ahead, the signalman had accidentally left the point switched to a branch line. But Thomas wasn't looking where he was going. Nothing to worry about. Maybe the lines are just a bit bumpy up here. That's what he told himself anyway. But that changed when he thought he returned back to the Smelters. The shed doors slowly opened and red smoke filled the air, and thrumming sounds echoed all around him. Something's wrong here. Maybe this is what Percy was on about. Is this a dream? Eerie noises filled the air, and thrumming noises bounced off the walls. Then Thomas rounded a bend, and there he saw a figure appear in front of him, of a character who he thought he would never see again. Not possible! That really is not possible! I saw you die! No, please! Stay away! Stay away! I'm out of here! And Thomas raced away as fast as his wheels could carry him. Then it happened. Thomas felt his baffers smack into something.
Thomas? Are you okay?
Splatter? Dodge?
Why, of course. Who do you think it was?
I thought... didn't you see it?
See what?
The diesel. I'm sure it was. Or even the line to the rundown smelter shed?
What are you on about, Thomas? There's no smelter shed near Barrow. They need to take it up to Sunderland scrapyard to deal with the stuff we gave them.
I'm telling you, there was a smelter shed there. I'm not seeing things. It had a disused track in there, and I saw him. I'm not going to tell you who Thomas saw, as I will spoil a future story.
Not possible, Thomas. He was gone when we found the outer shell.
So relax, Thomas.
But I...
Look, come on. We'll help you back. And you can stay with us tonight. Mavis is staying over too.
Hooray, a sleepover!
I'm sure. And Thomas and the two Diesels headed back to the smelter's yard. Thomas doesn't know what he saw, or if he even could put into words what he saw that night. But personally, I think it's best to just leave these things alone. Don't you think?